One of the many great stories of Jesus comes to us in the first 13 verses of chapter 6 of the Gospel of John. If you feel that you are not talented enough to be used by God, pay attention as I read the story of the feeding of the 5,000. Sometime after this, after leaving Jerusalem, Jesus crossed to the far shore of the Sea of Galilee, that is, the Sea of Tiberias, and a great crowd of people followed him because they saw the signs that he had performed by healing the sick. Then Jesus went up on a mountainside and sat down with the disciples, and the Jewish Passover festival was near. When Jesus looked up and saw a great crowd coming toward him, he said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?" He asked this only to test him, for he already had in mind what he was going to do. Philip answered him, "It would take more than half a year's wages to buy enough bread for each one to have a bite." Another of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. "Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. But how far will they go among so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." There was plenty of grass in that place, and they sat down. About 5,000 men were there. Jesus then took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. And he did the same with the fish. When they had all had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, "Gather the pieces that are left over. Let nothing be wasted." So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of the 5 barley loaves left over by those who had eaten. Notice the detail in verse 10. About 5,000 men were there. If you add women and children into the mix, the number could be in the vicinity of 20,000. Either way, that's a whole bunch of hungry people. And the boy's lunch of 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish wasn't nearly as much as we often imagine. The small loaves were basically biscuits, probably about the size of a mini pancake. The word we translate to fish refers to sea creatures about the size of sardines. It was a poor boy's lunch. But what made that little lunch a big feast is what the boy did. He gave it to Jesus, and he gave it willingly. And, unlike many of us, he didn't reason to himself, "I'll give Jesus 1 fish, and I'll keep 1 for me. And I'll give Jesus 3 loaves, and I'll keep the other 2 for me. Just like these other people, I'm hungry too, so I can take care of myself, and I'll give Jesus the leftovers." But nope, he gave Jesus everything that he had. And let's take a look at what resulted from his sacrificial gift of kindness and total generosity. First, the original lunch didn't fill up even a single basket, but the leftovers filled 12 baskets. This illustrates the harvest law that Jesus taught in Luke 6:38. "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." When we give to God, we always get back more than we give. And Proverbs 11:24 confirms this principle with an addition. One person gives freely, yet gains even more. Another person withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. When we withhold what we should give, we lose what it is that we hold on to. The second result is that by meeting the needs of others, his own needs were met. As we saw in verse 11, Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. And he did the same with the fish. And there were leftovers, lots of leftovers. The poor boy's lunch became an all-you-can-eat feast for the boy and for everyone else in the crowd, including the doubting disciples. And so, remember, When you give a gift to God, however small, Jesus can use it. The truth is, when you give God what you have, you will be amazed at what he does with it. Now, if you are out and about tonight around the World Golf Village, there will be a lot of traffic as our Tocoi Creek Toros football team hosts Bishop Kenny tonight at 7 p.m. in a battle of unbeaten teams. Be careful out there. It's probably still going to be raining, and watch for students. And plan on joining us for worship this Sunday morning at 9 or 11 a.m. And if you can't make it in person, be sure to join us online on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel at the Village Church at World Golf Village. Enjoy your weekend and be assured that eventually it will stop raining. For God has promised us that he won't destroy the world with a flood again. I love you, church. Have a great day.